This is an article that came out on December 16th, 2017 in the San Francisco Chronicle. St. Louis hit hard by opioid plague. As Missouri struggle with the epidemic of opioid abuse, no place in the state has been hit harder than St. Louis. There were 23 heroin deaths per 100,000 city residents from 2012 to 2016. The highest rate in Missouri and nearly double the rate in Jefferson County, which had the second highest rate. The St. Louis Post-Dispatch reported the city of St. Louis also leads the state in all types of opioid deaths and emergency room visits caused by prescription painkillers and heroin use. James Schroba of the Drug Enforcement Agency office in St. Louis says 80% of heroin addicts start by abusing prescription painkillers. They eventually switch to heroin because it's easier to get and cheaper, selling for as little as $5 to $10 a dose. And ladies and gentlemen, many of them need an average of 12 to 14 doses a day to keep that high. You know, it's not like they can go and just get one hit and they're done for the day. They got to keep going back to the drug dealer multiple times to satisfy that high. And it's one of those drugs I was reading, as soon as they come down from the high, they actually start going through withdrawal. And, and they hate that feeling. So what they'll do is they'll just keep going out there and getting the drug over and over. Mayor Lydia Crewson said addressing the problem is going to take all of us. After opioid deaths spiked in the city from 2015 to 2016, rising from 131 to 273, the 2017 numbers are down 30 from last year's pace. But a troublesome change this year has been the rise of fentanyl, a powerful and often deadly opioid. Statistics show 56% of the opioid overdose and deaths in St. Louis involved fentanyl last year, but 84% of 2017 overdoses involved the drug. Janelle Marie Wells, 24, of Fenton, overdosed inside a St. Louis home in January. The cause of death was acute fentanyl intoxication. To me, this is murder. Really? Interesting. Like I said, they got this so rigged up. The user is never responsible for anything. It's the drug dealer's fault. It's the people distributing the drugs. It's their fault. It's China's fault. It's Mexico's fault. But I have yet to read one single article, y'all, where it is the drug user's fault. I want you never to lose sight of the fact during the crack epidemic, they came with their battery rams, tore the doors in, grabbed everybody in the house, whether they were involved with crack or not, and everybody went to jail. The dealers went to jail. The users went to jail. They executed any pets that were in the house. That's how they handled it. But notice in this climate, the user is never wrong. The user is never the problem in the whole thing. It's everybody else, but not the user. Said mother, Sharon Hardcastle, somebody put fentanyl in whatever my daughter took and she died. No, it couldn't be possible that it might have been a voluntary act that her daughter did. No, that can't be the case. Hardcastle now tries to warn others about the dangers of fentanyl. That's all we feel like we can do is educate people, she said. You are not going to do this one night and have fun. You're going to die. In March, a 35-year-old Robert Patrick Stiff died after mixing heroin and fentanyl. See, that's intentional. You knew what you were mixing, right? My boy lived a life of pain, his mother said, Patricia Gillis said. And I lived a life of struggle to work and try to pay to fix him. Dr. Ross, chairman of the St. Louis Joint Boards of Health and Hospitals, said the opioid plague should be handled like any communicable disease threat. Like I said, you notice how it's all different now. Crack was not handled like a communicable disease, communicable. The neighborhood should be flooded with information, treatment referrals, and anti overdose drugs. Wow, that's all I can say. We need to interrupt the habits, the enablers, the structures that perpetuate the plague, Ross said. The St. Louis City Department of Health participates in a prescription drug monitoring program that allows doctors to check a patient's prescribing history and watch for potential abuses. And that's when these folks will, what they call doctor shop. They'll go from one doctor to the next getting prescription. Now, some states, like here in New Jersey, have a database. So if the same person goes to a different doctor, they automatically know. Where some states don't have that set up, so it's easy for them to doctor shop and get several scripts. Okay, pharmacists can watch for signs that patients may need to carry an overdose reversing treatment, naloxone. Wow, they even got the pharmacists looking out for them. Hmm. Director Melba Moore said the department plans to hire and really Melba Moore? Oh, okay. We know that name. Okay, so what they're doing is trying to set up a data tracking system for monitoring drugs. You know, just like I was saying, somebody going out there doctor shopping to get prescriptions from multiple doctors. Stillmore said her department needs more funding to respond to the plague. It's not like we're turning a deaf ear, Moore said. We need more people. We need more action. Well, unfortunately, that action is not coming from Trump because he said this is a public health emergency and there will be no additional funds for this plague that is ravishing this country. Please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. And don't forget to hit on that notification bell. Peace, family.